everybody knows the brick streets of Tyler. They're kind of a historic landmark here, if you will. But they're very old, and they need to be repaired, they need to be restored. So we are looking to learn a little bit more about what's going on this year in terms of the Brick Street Repair Project.
Okay. The Brick Street Repair Project is about an $874,000 project that we went out for bids, we got a bidder, and they've done a fantastic job. Crown Civil is doing it, and this is one of their specialties that they really excel at. So we only had one bidder, but we were very pleased with it. It's such a specialty job, it did not surprise us that we only had the one bidder. We've worked quite a few places around town, including Houston, and right now we're at Bonner right here, and we're also on College Avenue. What we're doing is brick streets need to be repaired just from wear and tear, age, because the bricks are over 100 years old, and they were made generally in this area. And when we go to fix a street, we actually end up only having about 80% recovery rate because a lot of the bricks are broken or damaged in some way. So we are having to use some backstock when we do this, but we have utility cuts that need to be fixed, whether it's from us or franchise utilities or whatever, because the water and sewer lines are underneath the streets. That is the purpose of that. Now, when we do go in and repair the streets, what we do is, depending on what is underneath the bricks, how deep the problem area is, how deep the soil is that's been compromised, we do go in and put some select fill if it's very deep, and then we bring it up, and then we put about 4 inches of concrete underneath that, just a flowable fill concrete underneath that, and then we put about a 1/4 inch of brick sand, just kind of a leveling layer, and then we will put in the bricks, and then we'll put in mortar in between. Now, what we do, instead of just because mortar is very white, what we will do is to put some dye in the mortar, and that way it doesn't just really stand out. It's kind of a black dye, and it makes it just kind of blend so much better to the existing.
More natural, and yeah, like you said, blends in with what's already existing, because I would imagine, some of this mortar hasn't been touched in decades, right?
Most all this is same as it was when it was installed, correct.
So can you talk to me a little bit about the significance of the brick streets and what they really mean to the city of Tyler?
The city really takes a lot of pride. We have about 14 miles roughly of brick streets, and it's a trait. It's a character of the city, with the Azalea district and the downtown and some of the adjacent areas, some of the mid-city area. It really brings character, and the mayor really enjoys, and it's a matter of pride for us. Do we have this many brick streets in town? So they are old, but they are a little rougher than other streets. But you know what? It's part of it. I mean, it's just because they are very unique.
It's all about the character, right?
Absolutely.
So can you talk to me about what goes into repairing, say, a section like this size? I mean, how many people does that take? How much time does that take? And how much money does that take?
Well, as you can tell by how long we have the streets shut down, like on Houston, we had shut down. We would open up an area, and then we'd say, oh, well, we have a little bit more area that needs to be in. It was kind of almost a domino effect at times. So we did have some contingency in our contract to be able to account for stuff like that. But it takes, we have to allow some time for the mortar to set after we pull up the brick. Now, what we do is when we pull up the brick, we pull it up by hand. They are literally down there on the hands and knees, pulling up the brick, cleaning the bricks, palletizing it, and then saving it. And there are several types of bricks around town. We have about 2 or 3 different types, just basically different sizes and from different kilns, different locations. So we do have to match this type of brick in there. There's about a 1/4 inch roughly difference on some of the sizes, and you will notice a difference if we put in one size brick to fix another size brick street.
Interesting. And how much money would you say it takes to repair even just a small section?
Several thousands of dollars. It also depends on how deep we have to go with the select fill and what is the problem underneath.
Okay. And how long do you think it takes to just complete the first step of removing that brick by hand?
Removing the brick and then removing what's underneath it takes a couple days, several days.
What happens to the bricks that are not reusable?
Not reusable, we actually put them in our stockpile, and we can reuse them. There are places where we can use half bricks and things like that, so we don't just throw away the broken bricks. We are able to use them.
Repurpose them
for things.
Future projects, potentially.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know the timeline for Bonner as of right now?
Bonner right now it's going to be shut down for another 2 or 3 weeks for mower repairs.
Okay. And overall, what are you hoping to get in terms of feedback from the community once this project is complete?
Feedback from community, just a satisfaction that we are preserving our history, we are preserving our character for the city, and we are putting money back into the brick streets, which is more expensive than a regular street because we're basically putting a street underneath the bricks. But still, it's just a lot of character, and it's a trait. It's a matter of pride for the city to have this, and we are preserving that.
Just to kind of expand on that, how would you tell people that at the end of the day it is worth it to put this work into this project?
What is character? What is something that is part of your identity worth? It's worth a little bit extra that we put into these.
And this is being funded by?
Right now it's being funded by maintenance, and not necessarily by half-cent sales tax. This is being funded by maintenance funds.
There are several steps. So we remove the brick, then we see what's below, then we fill that with whatever is appropriate, then we put the concrete, then we put the sand, then we put the brick, and then we fill the mortar.
Fill the mortar in between the brick to keep it so it doesn't move around.
Okay.
Otherwise, that's what breaks it up.
Gotcha.
And the heavy loading and all
Gotcha.
that.
Okay.
So, and depending how deep we go and what the problem is underneath, that depends how deep we go and what's required.
So once these projects are done, I mean, how long are they expected to last?
They're expected to last decades.
Decades. All right. Perfect.
So they've already lasted a lot of decades. We're
right.
preserving that and letting them last more. We do have a couple more streets here, and I can't remember them off the top of my head. We are looking at Bodark, having some repairs on Bodark over by the Recycle Center. So that's the one that I remember immediately.
Okay, and then y'all are also on College right now.
We're on College right now, and that should be done later open up later this week.
All right. How do you think these efforts all kind of tie into the revitalization of downtown Tyler and that greater project?
Well, you have the revitalization of downtown, but you also have just off downtown with the College Avenue, with the Bonner. So this is just kind of expanding that and keeping what's there pristine and repaired. Same with the Azalea District, where we've been doing some repairs down there.